Hello everybody, welcome back to the September Mix podcast. I haven't recorded for a while, that feels a little strange, but oh well. So today I wanted to jump in and just record a video, kind of a knit and chat video, while I'll tell you about my 2023 goals regarding knitting and fiber arts in general. And yeah, I'm a little late to the party. I know it's beginning of February, but I was in exam season until late January. So I really didn't have time or energy to post videos on YouTube. So, well, I'm late, but I still wanted to tell you a bit about it. I've been thinking about it quite a lot. And I am knitting on my fingerless mittens. This is just kind of an improvised pattern because I really wanted some fingerless mittens, and this is some Scooby-Doo thread just to hold the thumb gusset stitches while I'm working on the hand. Alright, so let's get to it. So I hope you have your knitting with you, a beverage, and that you're getting cozy, and maybe we can have a little conversation about some of these points in the comments if you want. That would be great. So yeah, let's get started. So my first point, I have my notes right there, so I might look in that direction and down because I'm looking at my knitting. The first point and kind of goal I want to set for 2023 is that I want to knit more from small designers, like independent designers, but I think everyone is familiar with Petite Knit. I think she is currently the most popular designer alongside Andrea Mowry and maybe Caitlin Hunter. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of these people. But I think there's nothing wrong with knitting from big designers. I've been feeling like I've been just knitting patterns, open patterns of huge designers, mostly Petite Knit. I have to say, looking back on my videos, I just feel like 80% of all the patterns that I knit are from Petite Knit, and while I think her patterns are really great, well written, and just like wardrobe basics while still being very beautiful, I kind of grew a little bit wary. I thought that was becoming a bit boring, and I've been craving more small designers, not only because I want to help support them to get their patterns out there, but also because I feel like maybe there might be some out-of-the-box ideas coming from more small designers and independent designers. So look out for a video in the near future. I really want to record a video about some patterns I want to knit this year from small designers. So yeah, but it's kind of difficult to like really pinpoint what a small designer is. Like, what do you actually look at? Is it the number of Instagram followers? Is it the number of favorites on their pattern on Ravelry, for example? It's kind of tricky, but I don't know. I haven't really set myself a strict point from where it's okay for me to knit a pattern. I think I'm still going to knit some Petite Knit this year, or some my favorite things knitwear, but it's just something I want to keep in mind for 2023. And just kind of reflect upon and prioritize independent creators and small creators whenever it's possible. Okay, so that's it for my first point. My second point, if you have watched my videos on my no yarn buy, I think the first one I posted is why I won't buy yarn anymore, or something like that. If you go back in my videos, you're probably going to be able to see it. I talked about how I didn't want to buy any more yarn for at least 6 months because I kind of just got overwhelmed with all the yarn that I own, and it's still very much in my current reality. I still have way too much yarn, but yeah, I've been doing that, and my goal for this year is to not buy any yarn until July, so it will be a little bit more than 6 months at least, and if I can keep on going, I surely will, if temptation doesn't get too strong. But yeah, I really want to reduce my stash and yeah, just knit from my stash whenever it's possible. Well, really force myself to knit from my stash to avoid this constant mentality of wanting to buy more and more and consume more and more when I really have plenty and everything I could ever want in my stash already at home. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of shopping in my stash, which is kind of exciting. So yeah, I think I'll make a few videos on that this year too. That's my plan at least, and we'll see. For now, no more yarn buying until at least July. Next, this is kind of a, for some people you're going to find this a little maybe ridiculous. I really want to knit cables this year. I don't know why, because I've heard a few times and some people have actually told me directly that it's not that bad, but yeah, I'm kind of afraid of cables. I don't know why, if it's the whole like you have to knit using different needles or just like leave your stitches loose, I guess, but yeah, I've been kind of afraid of trying them and I've kind of put them off, but this year I really want to knit them. It could just be on a pair of socks or some mittens or like little tiny, well, I mean, maybe knitting cables on a tinier surface might be trickier. I don't know. Tell me what you think, if you have any thoughts on that and any idea of a good cable beginner pattern to recommend. That'd be very appreciated, but that is one of the goals for this year because cables look so good and I really want to master them finally. Alright, so my fourth point is that I want to only have three, I wrote three, I think three is reasonable, 3 patterns going at once. 3 projects, I should say. Basically what happened recently, well, not recently, basically from the beginning of my knitting journey, is that I have so many works in progress, which is kind of overwhelming for me. Like, even in my podcast, I only present the works in progress that are currently that I'm currently working on, but I do have a few dormant projects, and I don't really like the thought of having a little to-do list in the back of my mind, and me just knowing that, oh, I'm going to have to frog a project at some point or actually finish it and just like grab a pattern that I haven't touched for months. And yeah, it's just a little bit stressful in a way for me, and I think 3 projects could be a good number for me to not get overwhelmed, not procrastinate on anything, and it's enough to have some variety and not get bored. I can have one maybe sock project or a little project like that one sweater and one scarf or shawl, and it gives a lot of choice for when I want to knit. You don't always want to have your you don't always want to work on your most difficult intricate intarsia project. You also want a kind of a mindless knit, so I think 3 could be a good number of projects to have at once, to not get overwhelmed and knit more, because I don't know if it can maybe help me knit more. We'll see. Then another kind of technique that I would like to learn is well, not really a technique because I've been doing it for a while. It's not new in that sense, but I really want to knit some colorwork socks. So I've been kind of scared of colorwork socks because I've heard so many horror stories of people who knit their beautiful colorwork socks without trying them on, and it turns out that they have made their floats way too short and it just doesn't fit their foot. So yeah, I've been kind of scared of trying that, but I've stumbled upon a few months ago, I think. The Stone Knits account. She's a lovely woman who also lives in Switzerland like me, and she designs the cutest colorwork socks, and I really wanna knit a pair. I actually bought a pattern, the Magic Toadstool socks, I think they're called. And yeah, they're just so cute. You probably have seen them around because they're very popular. They're the little venomous, I don't know if that's a word in English, but basically the red and white little mushrooms, and there's just like a few little mushrooms going around the sock, and they're just way too cute to pass. So I really want to knit these ones. Yeah, next thing is kind of controversial because I've watched a few of these knitting goals for the new year videos, and everybody seems to be saying the exact contrary to me. I want to knit less for the people I love. Basically, that might seem very strange. Ever since I started knitting, I've knit a lot of pieces for my family mostly, and just my loved ones in general. And while they are appreciative, especially my grandma, she's very knit worthy, and my boyfriend, not that I have knit a lot of things for him yet, but oh well. I feel like sometimes when I just look back on all the things that I own, that I've handmade, there's not just that many things really, because I knit a lot for other people, and it's kind of beginning to frustrate me, especially since I'm in the team of, how can I say this? I think nobody's ever going to truly, or a very little amount of people, very small amount of people, is ever really going to understand the work and just the love that goes in every stitch in a project that you knit for someone in your family or a friend or a significant other. And yeah, it can just become a little bit frustrating when I see that sometimes I might end up knitting something for someone and they might not wear it. It's just the best feeling in the world when I knit something for a loved one and they actually wear it a lot and they love it, and that's great. So I don't want to stop completely knitting for others, but I want to relieve some of that pressure that I put on myself. It's purely a me thing, I know, to just like have something ready for a birthday coming up, for Christmas. And last Christmas I was just on a marathon of gift knits, and while that was very fun and it kind of pushes me to knit more and to be more creative, it can also become a little bit stressful, I must say. And I knit most of all for the pleasure that it brings me, and I just feel like knitting less for other people this year would be great overall. I don't think I'm not going to knit anything for others, but less, so I can feel like I'm also knitting for myself, and I can actually see the reflection of all the hours I spend knitting in my own wardrobe for once. Maybe that sounds selfish, but oh well. Next point that I want to focus on in 2023 is that I really want to avoid, as much as possible, buying from brands that don't have a lot of transparency when it comes to how their yarn is produced, where it comes from, how the animals are treated, and all of that. So in a more concise way, I really want to avoid buying from brands like Drops, for example. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you might know that I do knit a lot with yarn from drops. So I'm not saying I'm not going to use it. Of course I'm going to use what I have. By the way, this is a drops yarn. This is their Nord in the like light blue color. Can't remember the number, I think it's 08 or something. But yeah, I do consume a lot of their yarn. I do have a lot of it in my stash, simply because it's the most affordable, 100% natural yarn there is to me, and it's just practical in a lot of different ways where I live and where I can, from retail points, basically. However, I think it's not very logical of me to consume this this yarn that doesn't have, well, as I said, there's just not a lot of transparency for those ethical issues, and I'm someone who cares about ethics in general, cares about the welfare of the animals and how something might impact the people and the environment, and it just doesn't really fit with my values to consume a lot of yarn from brands that don't have a lot of transparency. So I'm going to try to avoid these kinds of brands as much as possible this year. It's going to be quite a big change because for now I've kind of been ignoring it in a way, and I'm not saying that people are 100% responsible about what they consume. It's, you know, the big capitalist machine, but we're not gonna get into that today. But that's something I do want to focus on in 2023 and go for more ethical, I think, alternatives and sustainable alternatives, and still kind of on the cheaper side because I'm still a student. But yeah, I might make a video about more ethical brands that don't sell super expensive yarn in the future. Next thing on a lighter note is that I would really want to learn intarsia. As a technique, I always found it super impressive whenever I would see jumpers that people made using tiny little balls of yarns, and it's just like, it's everywhere, and I was thinking, oh my god, would never work for me. But yeah, it's just one of those techniques that I hear is not that difficult, and as for cables, I've been really wanting to knit that technique, but I've been kind of scared. Maybe it's not very reasonable of me, but this is a goal for 2023, and I really want to make a bi-color sweater, so a very like simple pattern, just like knit it in the middle, it's kind of split, and here is one color and here is the other. Very like classical sweater, but that I think that could add so much originality to the design. So hopefully I'm able to knit that kind of garment in 2023. That'd be very fun, and I think I would maybe use either some very basic neutral colors like maybe grey and black or grey and white, or maybe I could go for like very funky colors or pastel colors and do like a really fun jumper. That could be really nice as well. Next, I really want to dabble in designing a little bit. Not designing in the sense that I don't want to become a full-blown knitting designer. I don't have the experience for that. I don't have the knowledge as of yet. Maybe someday in the future. But for now, that's not a goal of mine. I just really want to design a particular sweater. Well, maybe two designs. But let's start with one for this year that I really haven't seen anywhere and I think could be really nice. And if I can't buy a pattern for it because I haven't found what I'm looking for, I might as well try to design it. And I think the whole process of designing a jumper could be very interesting for me and could bring me a lot of, well, make me gain a lot of knowledge. So I think that's a very fun and kind of ambitious goal for 2023 that could be very nice. And we're already at my last goal of my 10 goals for 2023. I haven't knitted a ton on my mitten. I just started the ribbing and well, it's at that stage now. You're not going to see anything, are you? Oh, here it is. I think they're gonna be really sweet. So, focus on my face. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, my last goal for this year is not, well, it is very much knitting related, but it's not actually like the act of knitting or yarn buying. I really want to kind of, for lack of a better term, as English isn't my mother tongue, I want to expand on my YouTube channel. I want to kind of branch out a little bit. YouTube has been so fun for me, and I've met a few people that are just lovely human beings and very, yeah, just lovely people through that. And I would love to kind of focus a little bit more on my YouTube. For a while I was making a video, one video a week. Now that was a lot of work, and of course I don't make a living on YouTube, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I've been kind of scared to consider thinking about making other kinds of videos, not like strictly podcast videos and just like talking about fiber related things, but also maybe more personal videos, like some food for thought video kinds. And yeah, I don't know, I think that could be very fun, but also I'm very aware that on my YouTube channel there's a specific, I want to say demographic, but that's not the right term, but there's a specific kind of people, the kind of people who is interested in knitting. Obviously this is a knitting channel, so I've been kind of thinking, should I open a second channel and make like other kinds of videos on it, and just like kind of a brain dump, just like drop all of my ideas on there and just like see how it does. But at the same time, as I was saying, making videos is a lot of work. It takes hours upon hours, not only planning the actual filming of it, but editing takes a while. And of course, when you create a video, you want some people to see it, because you think if you're proud of what you've done, you think it could add a little bit of value to someone. Like inspire them or something, you know? So I've been thinking, if I start a whole other YouTube channel, that might be a little sad, because now I have gained like a tiny amount, of course, if you compare it with like millions of followers, but that's still a lot for me. Like over 2,000 followers is a lot for me. So yeah, I don't know, I've been kind of dabbling with this idea, so I'm not sure if I want to upload other kinds of videos on this channel and maybe lose some people's interest because they're here strictly for the knitting, or maybe open another channel and just do whatever I want, knowing that having two YouTube channels represents like a lot more work than if I just put stuff out, videos out on one channel, and even if it doesn't really fit the theme. I mean, we'll see. But I think a goal for 2023 is really to focus on this channel and do more creative things relating to fiber arts, but also maybe not, and other stuff, and kind of hybrid things and all of that. So yeah, I hope that 2023 is going to be a very creative year for me, for you, for everyone. I hope everyone, you're all feeling great. And I wish you all the best for 2023, a little bit late, but the thought is still here. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for supporting me, and don't forget to leave a comment if you feel like it, and to subscribe if you feel like it too. It always warms my heart to read comments, and I read every single one of them, even though I might not reply very fast, but yeah. Alright, have a wonderful day or a wonderful evening, and I'll see you in not too long. Bye.